there's always different instruments, but overall, currency market-wise, what's your take?
I would say, honestly, I love when the currency markets are like this, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because I'm a diversified trader. I trade in multiple markets. I make a living off the market, so I need to be able to consistently draw profits.
And there's always something moving.
Correct. And then when it's not moving, I can play time decay, selling calls and puts.
Okay, so you're an options guy as well.
Yeah. I just, if for instance, ever since the Brexit, things have been slow, but the summer doldrums, it's always, kind of slow. The market can be seasonal. It has seasonalities.
Sure. So
therefore, you have to learn how to adjust your approach based on the different cycle we're in. So during the summer, I don't have my foot on the gas as much because I understand that it's a little different. Plus, the big hedge fund managers and the big banks, they're typically on vacation around this time.
Which is interesting because, normally we do have these flat, not a lot of volatility, not a lot of volume type summers. This one I feel is a bit of a different.
It's been a little bit jumpy.
We have had some pretty big swings. I mean, if you look at what's going on. I mean, I'll bring up some charts here, TJ. We'll bring up a couple just to show, for example. But if we look at the summertime, generally we're talking about, from July on. Well, here's the euro-US dollar. It's had some really big swings, especially since the end of July. The dollar index, that's another good one. And
we saw a good move earlier this week, and then now it's kind of sitting, but
we'll go
demand.
We'll go look. I'm just going to click on the TJ. Just click on a bunch of different futures contracts so we can see here. Here's crude oil. I mean, obviously huge swings. These may not look that big, but they're massive. So this typical quote-unquote summer, which was supposed to be slow and uneventful, has actually become extremely volatile, and I think that's the challenge out there. And I love what you're saying, which is, look, I need to be able to kind of know when to put my foot on the gas or when not to. And if you're planning on markets kind of being quiet and all of a sudden it's totally volatile, you have to kind of stop what you're doing and regroup.
Correct. Now, one thing I will say is, even though there's been a lot more volatility, you have to figure out what's creating it. A lot of it is news-driven.
Right.
Now, you can trade news in equities. You can trade news in futures and options. In Forex, it's a little different.
It's a little harder.
Because the spreads, they can really start to mess with the trade. So it's important to be diversified. You guys are in luck because we have each asset class.
Yeah.
And in order to be able to be a complete trader who's trading, in each market, each cycle, you have to be able to diversify. So that's why at this time, I can play a Brexit by going in and, selling a put, right? Or selling a call in June, for instance, when you had it drop, right? So a lot of times, there's certain markets where it's more suitable. For instance, in the morning, where I'm at, I'm going to be trading futures, right? 9:30 in the morning, right? I'm Globex trapping it.
Nice.
Right?
Let's go back to this dollar chart here, TJ, because as soon as I brought it up, you were like immediate to go, oh man, we got a nice one on this. First off, before we dive into what's set up our analysis, for those that aren't able to view this in HD at home, really, since 2015, the dollar hasn't done much. It's had some big swings up to just barely over 100, and you could say low point right around 92. Right now, we're different at 94. The last couple of weeks have been extremely bearish. I think that is obviously coming on the heels of a lot of people anticipating the Fed not raising and actually potentially cutting and going negative on rates here soon. What were your thoughts on the dollar? What was that setup you were talking about?
Well, the dollar is actually